Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. My voice is better. Woo.
Jeff is now played by the role of a 14-year-old girl.
And Guude is now played by a smooth operator.
I was always smooth up. So yeah, what's new?
What's new in the Happy F's? I sadly didn't get to stream the chili cook-off because of the illness.
I saw that you didn't stream, and everyone was like, "Why did he not stream?" And I was like, "I bet because he was damn sick."
I was laid out. Out. Well, also, so let me ask you something, and I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. So the flyers and all the information I had about the chili cook-off straight up said, chili cook-off Saturday 11 to 3 at the fire station. Telling families to come, watch fire drills, eat chili, blah, 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 all this stuff about it. And it said all chili must be prepared on site.
Okay.
What does that make you think about the chili being cooked?
The chili is going to be cooked there.
When?
I mean, it doesn't have to be cooked. Okay, you know what? They probably got there early and started cooking the chili.
So, I was anticipating that. My plan was to go get set up with cameras and stuff and have some in the kitchen for all the people that were fighting and like cooking their chili and things like that, and go interview them as they were cooking, talk to them about their ingredients and all that stuff, and then get into some of the drill stuff as people started coming in and we're waiting for the final, serving and tasting and all that stuff to finally happen. So so when I'm at my shift the Monday before, one of the guys who's helping run it, he was talking about it and said something about how, keeping one of the fridges clear so that the people who cook the chili can store it until the day of the competition. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you got to cook it here during the chili cook-off. He's like, oh no, chili's the best if you cook it, like you let it stew for days and stuff. And I was like, well, I understand that, but this is a chili cook-off, and it straight up says that, it's, cooked on site. And he goes, yeah, cooked on site, but not the day of the cook-off. People are just going to come in here on different days. They have to come to the station and cook it on different days. Then they put it in the fridge and then reheat it on the day of the cook-off.
I mean, it makes sense. As much as that sucks, it does. I mean, in a standard cooking competition, I feel like that would be not cool. But
and maybe I'm just so used to the standard cooking competition at this point that I was thinking I was going to be taping all this. But then why do you have to cook it on site?
Yeah, that part is like, what are you going to do differently off-site? You got some special MSG you're putting in there?
Yeah, they made it very clear you had to cook it on site, which is why I anticipated this, and they even talked about the fact that they couldn't have that many people enter the contest because of the fact that we only have an industrial 6-burner stove.
Huh.
So I was there's
some different thoughts on this, basically.
And I mean, it was fine. Everybody enjoyed it, which is fine. I wasn't prepared for that, so I was actually even having a hard time understanding what was I going to be streaming the whole time. Because otherwise it was just people coming in, us doing some drills which people would have enjoyed, but then people just eating the chili that was already cooked. There was no cooking happening whatsoever. And then
there wasn't a cooking competition anymore. Right. It was cooked chili that's being consumed.
I'm in the bed next to you, by the way.
Oh yeah, right.
So for next year, when I actually do finally get to live stream this, I want to have people's expectations set.
Right.
Because mine were not set. Clearly, I thought I was dumb.
How did the fundraising aspect of it go?
Apparently pretty well. I mean, the part of the fundraising aspect was that there was they just charged an admission for people who were there. It was donation admission, $10 an adult, $5 a child. I guess there was 100 people that showed up. So, decent. And then...
Do y'all do any kind of casino night?
No, we do not do a casino night.
Is that legal in your state?
I don't know. That's interesting to think about because we definitely. I mean, I definitely used to work at the bingo hall way back. Back when, which is a form of gambling, but every so often there would be a casino night that they would be able to do for and it was always like the Boy Scouts or something like that would get to put it on.
Play on Con every year, they would have casino night, and
Play on
it
Con's
wasn't.
not exactly what you call the most like everything set up in the legal sense, though, right?
Well, the casino night was to support the local fire department.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it was a
so that's
legit
the-
charity set up, gambling approved.
Yeah. Every year I end up buying in for at least $100. So they made some good money on their casino night, because I wasn't the only one that was dropping big money.
But at the same time, you probably are the type of person who, when you do something for charity, it's for charity, whereas there's other people who are there to win. People go to casino nights to win money. Oh, okay, never mind.
I mean, well, no, you couldn't win money, obviously. I mean, everyone knew it was. See, I guess that's the difference with Play on Con is they did have the Play on Con bucks you could win, which is the fake money, which is how you win the presidency. And there were other uses for them as well. So you could buy gifts, gift prizes and that sort of stuff. So you'd still want to have cheap kind of door prize type stuff that you would want to have some kind of currency that you're getting, and then that can be cashed out into some kind of cheaper thing so that you're still making a profit. You know what I mean?
So it might not have been a real gambling license that they had then for those, like the ones I've been to, because the ones I've been to are you are gambling. It is sanctioned gambling for the night for this specific fundraiser, and you can go in and walk out with money.
Oh, no. This all money in is in. You're donating to charity.
Oh yeah. Donating to charity. They probably didn't even need a gambling license for it.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about for you guys. Even like none of the money you're putting in is coming out. You're giving this money to the fire department, but you're going to get some fake money, and with that fake money, you can do some things. It's just not, it's kind of like whenever you put money into a claw machine, you're not going to get your money's worth.
See, I don't know if that would be a big hit with the community, though.
Okay.
Who's going to want to come out of their way to go to gamble at the fire station when you get nothing out of it?
I mean, you're donating to the fire station. The same people that went and got chili.
Yeah, but they had something that they did there. Like, I don't mean something they did as in like gambling. I mean, because when people gamble, they're gambling to win money. They had something they did. They came there to eat chili, to watch drills and stuff like that. You wouldn't do that at a.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on how you put it out. Like, the way PlayOnCon does it, it's almost like a date night too. Like, you're supposed to wear your nice clothes and like bring your girlfriend or wife, and I don't know. It's like a night at Vegas sort
of thing. It's not both at the same time. We don't want to cause a scene.
Yeah. Typically your girlfriend. So I don't know. I mean, it really depends on how you. I mean, if you could do it in a way where everyone can bring their own alcohol, sort of thing. I don't know how that's regulated.
No,
like
I'll call the fire station.
Oh, okay. I mean, could y'all rent out a place to do it at?
Yeah, we could probably rent out a place to do it at.
Because I mean, the alcohol is a big part of the PlayOnCon thing too. When you're gambling, you want to have some alcohol. I don't know. It's just a thought, because since they do it for a fire station, that's the reason why I thought of it.
Yeah, no, I mean that would be a cool kind of concept. I would rather make it a real gambling night. I would actually love it if they just did a bingo. Man, when I used to work at the bingo hall, those old ladies and old men, they loved their bingo, and bingo is fun actually. And they made some good money off of bingo.
Really? Mm-hmm. Who makes good money? The players or
both?
Really?
Both. Yeah,
I've never played bingo for more than like
cost about $20 for the average person to play. Like, and it was about 3 hours worth of play. $20 got me like a 12 on set and a streaker card, which is the special. And so I had 12 boards that I was playing. And I remember going once and I won the 6-pack and I won $120 in this one game. Yeah. Just $120. But it's like 3 hours of play.
That's cool. I've never played. outside of like the church bingo games or the community bingo games.
Well,
where,
technically, this was a church bingo game. It was run from a church. I was having to work there.
Yeah, my church bingo games, the prizes are chocolate, but there's no buy-in either. So I've never played a bingo game where I'm paying money.
Oh yeah. This was their we did 5 nights a week of bingo. That was their main fundraiser for.
Gotcha.
Everything was bingo, and and the biggest thing that you got people with was the progressive jackpot, which increased in value until somebody won every single week. So you had it start at $500 for the progressive jackpot at the very final game, and all of a sudden at the end of a couple months, nobody wins it, and you're at $3,500 jackpot, and hundreds of people are showing up to play that night.
Right. That's like the lottery, basically. How does that work? What's the progressive jackpot? How is it? How do you win it?
It's it's half of the, what was it? What the hell was it that went into the progressive jackpot? Oh, it was a separate game that cost $1.
Okay,
per
so
card.
you get a separate bingo card.
And half of the
what
proceeds...
made that bingo card harder to hit?
It was a coverall. It wasn't harder. It was just a different game. It was played on a different card. And you had to cover the whole thing. And you had to do it. It was like a coverall in, I want to say, 50 numbers. If nobody gets it in 50 numbers, we'll continue on for the consolation prize of $100. But the progressive will continue on the next week and increase. And every week it increases, it also increases in number. So next week it's $500 plus half of the proceeds from this week's progressive in 51 numbers. The week after it's 52 numbers.
Wait, it gets harder?
No, it gets easier.
Oh, 50. I gotcha.
Yeah, it gets easier to get.
Right. Makes sense. What do you remember the highest it ever got?
$3,900 or something like that once.
Man, that person that won that had a good day.
And
especially when you buy it in for $1.
New Year's for some reason was huge. We always did they had a New Year's Eve bingo that went up until about 11 o'clock. And then there was a party afterwards for the New Year's for these old people if they wanted to stay for it, like punch and all the stuff. It was the busiest day of the year at the bingo hall for some reason. And one year progressive jackpot was like $2,500 on New Year's because just the way it fell. And God, it was insane crowds. And my buddy and I it was so busy. My buddy and I used to get put on parking lot duty every year because the parking lot for the bingo hall itself got so small that we'd have to guide people to other parking lots they could go park in because they're old people, But we weren't allowed to drive their cars. We weren't allowed to be valets, which was great because we would sit out there with flasks full of alcohol because we were out there for the first 2 hours of the night and we would just get wasted, and then we go in there and be number callers. And I remember one New Year's I was so drunk and they put me on the mic and I kept falling asleep in between numbers, and I came off of the mic and one of my the people that would play it all the time, she goes, "Jeff, I don't know what it is about you tonight, but you're speaking so eloquently compared to normal." I was like, damn straight I am.
This is my Jack Bean accent.
Oh man, yeah, the right level of alcohol gets me talking in that smooth talker voice. Not with this voice. This voice is my sexiest voice ever. The ladies come get it. I sound like a sexy smoker. They're still attractive, right?
You sound like one of Marge's sisters on The Simpsons.
I do. I told somebody I was being Marge Simpson the other day because it's. Yep, I sound like that. It is rough. This is the most I've talked since I lost the voice, so I'm struggling to keep up with it.
I was starting to wonder as the time ticked on tonight. I was like, either he's getting a kid down or he's not coming at all.
Yeah, no, the kid just took a little bit to get down tonight. He's been a little jerk lately. Terrible too.
How's he enjoying having a sibling?
He likes having the sibling, but he's getting really demanding with. He wants to not eat his dinner. He wants to, nope, I don't want my dinner. I want sickles, which is what he calls popsicles. So tonight we finally were like, look, no, you don't eat the sickles, or you don't get any sickles. You don't get to watch any videos if you don't eat your dinner. And he got mad and cried, and he didn't eat his dinner, so he didn't get any sickles. But he ended up calming down from that and like reading some stories. He just was like hyper and wouldn't go to bed.
Right.
So my wife thinks that a 2-year-old is too early to instill discipline.
I disagree with that.
I completely
notion 100%.
I completely disagree with that as well. Problem is, she's got the problem where her mom is like studied child psychology and has this. Her mom's got a crazy thought process on child rearing. Though she thinks that the mother should never be working until the kid's like 10 because they need that bonding time and that
What about the dad?
Doesn't matter. The mom is who needs to be home with the kid, according to
Really, that's sexist as fuck.
And that sharing a bed with your child until they're like 5 to 10 years old is completely acceptable and fine. That's their mother's philosophy. So
Always?
not like. What do you mean always?
Like every night?
Yeah, like having doing like a bed sharing.
Huh?
Like having that as the sleeping arrangement.
Well, I mean that definitely cuts down on the number of babies you're making.
Or does it?
Or does it?
So it makes it like difficult because her mom also believes that a 2-year-old can't like understand it. You can't discipline a 2-year-old. Like I said, completely disagree with that. Our pediatrician completely disagrees with that.
I mean, you're just setting them up for a lifetime of non-discipline if you don't. I mean, the first few years are the most important. Ooh. How can she think that as someone who is? I don't understand. What the fuck school did she go to?
Tonight is the first time I've been able to actually get quote unquote discipline by not giving in. Oh God. He didn't eat his dinner. We didn't give in to any of the stuff. He got no videos. He got no sickle. He got no like special treatment.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that is raising a brat. It's like a new documentary series on Netflix.
So I will explain to you the rationale as to why. I just don't agree with it. And there's some evidence out there that supposedly supports it, but there's lots of evidence that refutes it as well. By the way, I'm getting in bed.
I'm going.
And it's based on the fact that if you're trying to discipline somebody, they need to understand what they're being disciplined for. The discipline means nothing.
Sure. And like if you go to a cat or a dog that's done something and they did it so long ago, they don't know that they did that sort of thing.
And it's hard to get him to understand, like, what he's being, like, if you put him in timeout, he doesn't seem to get why he's in timeout. He just gets out of timeout and tries to think he can go right back to the same thing. Like, he clearly didn't get it.
I mean, but that's a taught thing too, though, in my opinion.
Well, I would agree because she won't let us do timeouts because she doesn't believe that he understands why we're,
Until you start doing them, you're never.
I'm with you completely. But there is evidence and rationale to support the concept. But I'm with you as well. If you never do it, of course they're never going to learn.
I mean, and I think in terms of the mill thing from tonight, for example, I think you can see a clear cause and effect that a 2-year-old can understand. I didn't do this, therefore this didn't happen, and that's easy, and it's an immediate thing. It's not a timeout. You're not sitting there wondering why I'm sitting here. Any of those things. It's you didn't do this, so therefore you don't get this treat.
Well, and hopefully he got that, and that's what I kept telling him all. Ow. That was it.
And yeah, the more you reinforce that verbally, the more he will.
Because all night he kept saying, I want a sickle. And I said, you didn't eat your dinner. And so I just made sure it was very much reinforced all night. One thing that really scares me, though, is I think he's a manipulator. My son is a manipulator, and I think it's because...
Every child is.
Well, it's because moms let him get away with a lot of stuff, too.
I mean, since the divorce, my daughter has turned into a damn master manipulator.
Really? So I'll tell you, today when I was putting him in his high chair for dinner, it was funny because he had his hands on the high chair rails, and I went to put the top down, and I saw that it was going to like go onto his hands. So I was like, no, buddy, you got to move your hands out of the way. So he moved his hands out of the way, and I clicked the high chair down, and then he goes, ow, my finger, which was nowhere near because I had him move it. And I said, Jack, you were nowhere near the thing. I didn't touch your finger at all. I made sure of that don't lie and like pretend I hurt you. And then he continued to cry and changed it from his finger, because I called him out on it, to I want a sickle.
Huh.
So like
wow.
I don't know what the deal is, or why he would decide that crying about a finger being hurt would like help him in some way, if he was already like working on the plan of, oh, when I'm hurt they give me what I want, because
exactly,
was he like already working,
which he can understand cause and effect, which means he can understand discipline.
Yep, cause and effect is definitely there. Yep. Oh yeah, and he clearly understands cause and effect, because now a lot of times, because we stopped letting him watch as many videos, because all he wants to do now is watch videos, and he gets really pissed off when you don't let him, or when you take a video away. Like you'll say like, we'll watch one video and then you take it away from him, and he freaks the fuck out. So now all of a sudden he'll be like, let's go in the car, watch videos, because we will let him watch videos in the car, because he's otherwise just sitting in the back seat doing nothing, and so he relates the car to being able to watch videos.
Right. So yeah, if he's in the car,
let's
just go driving.
He understands cause and effect just fine.
Yeah. So yeah, he can understand discipline. And my daughter does this thing now where if she does lie, and I know she's lying about something, I'll be like, she'll basically say something happens at her mom's house or whatever, and I know damn well, know Crystal long enough to know what she's gonna allow and what she's not, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna text your mom. She's like, did you text her? And I'm like, yeah, text her. She said you're not telling the truth. Okay, you're right. I didn't even text you, So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being a manipulator when I was a kid too. Oh, Dad, can we watch The Simpsons? Mom says we can.
Right. I mean, it happens whenever you're not divorced too, when the parents are in the same damn house, but it's worse whenever the parents don't communicate.
Yeah, that's true. Mine was more like just when my mom was doing night school and she wasn't there for the night, and
right. Like if she realized to the degree that her mother never responds to anything, boy, she'd get away with anything she wanted. That's why I have to basically lie to her about, yeah, I texted her ass. I'm just as bad a lying as she is, basically, at this point.
But there's good lies and bad lies. Bad lies are Santa Claus.
You fucking no. I was making an Easter basket earlier. I mean, the Easter bunny was. Does Jack get to have an Easter bunny?
I'm sure he will.
This year?
I'm sure he will. He had a Santa Claus. I mean,
that's kind of like a. Did he?
Yeah, wasn't my Santa. I didn't give him anything from Santa Claus. Other people did.
What the fuck does that mean?
He also has like his grandparents, his mother. He also he goes.
Was it like waiting?
He goes and learns about Jesus every Sunday too, like when his grandmother's in town. So I mean,
right,
a lot of fake things in his life.
Well, that's the thing about Easter, is that it's so tied in with obviously the Christian belief that and they've merged them in such a way too that most churches will still hold like Easter egg hunts, which is kind of weird. Like, what are they looking for? Who hid these? Did Jesus come back and hide the eggs?
Jesus came back and hid some eggs.
Yeah. So like that was the other thing. I knew Jack went to church. I was thinking about it. I literally thought about this earlier today while I was putting this stuff together. And as I was at when I was at Target and Walmart buying the stuff to go in the basket, I thought of you, and I was like, I wonder if Jeff knows candy goes in Easter baskets, or what's he think goes in Easter baskets?
Nope, toys. Only toys.
I put mostly toys, honestly, just because my daughter doesn't eat that much candy, and it's I don't want her to get a big basket full of candy anyway, so I do mostly toys.
See why are they trying to merge holidays? That's the whole point. Easter is the candy one. Candy goes in the basket.
No, Halloween is the candy one.
Halloween
is straight up candy.
Halloween also is a candy one. Or erasers. Some people give out erasers for some odd reason.
I guess to save the teeth. I mean, that was what apples were supposed to do, but then everyone got afraid of these imaginary razors that never
existed. Staples and razors
never existed. And I mean, anyone that's ever seen a damn apple knows the moment you puncture the surface, it bruises and all this shit. Like, you couldn't hide a razor there no more. You could hide your dick inside of it.
I mean, I want to know who they thought this mastermind was, too, who was like, let's fuck up the children with apples with the razor blades in them.
I mean, I guess that was around the same time period as things like Ted Bundy and all of this. Like the nation as a whole went into this panic mode that we're still in. It's only perpetually gotten worse since then. And I don't know what the thing was that triggered it, but I think that's one of them is the emergence of this. I mean, I think it's probably the communication age where communication got so shared across the nation and the world is what perpetuated fear. Because we started learning about things we didn't know about. Like if you watch like any of the documentaries on just to simplify this down to one subject, like serial killers, like the shit that was going on with Ted Bundy, he was easily able to move from state to state and murder lots of people because news didn't travel. News was a local thing for the most part. There wasn't like this national news coverage where you had one topic matter and it was spread.
So
on
he was
every
just
single news
the new
station.
guy in town without any like.
Basically, yeah. Like he went from town to town, and then there would be like whenever you watch the documentary, this is on Netflix. It's pretty wild. How like he moves into another town, starts killing people, and it's the local news there. And it took not years, but it took a while for them to start communicating state to state to realize, oh shit, we all got the same guy killing people. And he'd worked for the police department for a period of time and like learned how they do like investigations, and like he'd done all this shit that like set himself up in a way that it made it really difficult for them to even figure him out.
I guess that's the way if you're going to be a killer, work for the police department.
All right. Yeah, for sure. But I guess that's why you don't see these success, at least on the same level. You don't see successful serial killers or any of that type of stuff anymore. But I do think that was about the time period, the 70s and the 80s were the time period where we changed as a nation, and then it just only got worse and worse. Things like September 11th added to it. It just perpetually got worse, where our fear level grew on out in every direction. Like you don't let your kids go out and play by themselves because someone's going to steal them, when for the most part no one's stealing your children. There's not more people stealing children today than there was then.
You don't think so?
Did you say you don't think so?
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think that there is a new rise of children kidnappings. I just think it's more widely reported. In fact, I think it's probably less because it's more widely reported. I feel like there was probably more kids that disappeared back then. They went and disappeared, Jeff. They disappeared back then, but the news didn't travel in the same way, so you never knew about it. Like these kids disappeared in their hometown. It was a hometown thing. Everyone in the hometown knew about it, but the whole nation didn't know about it. So it wasn't this thing that everyone in the whole world talked about. There wasn't that Amy, what was her name? Amy, I can't remember her damn name now. But the little blonde girl that disappeared and for almost a year. She was 13.
The one that just got found recently?
No. This was one of the first big high-profile disappearances, probably 97. I was going to throw a year on it. I think that would be about the time. Not somewhere in that range. And her name was Amy. I remember that. But she was one of the first that got nationwide news coverage. This person is missing. But, I guarantee you back in the day, there was kids disappearing all the time because it was so much harder to track. There wasn't DNA evidence. There wasn't all of this stuff. And so I bet you stuff like sex trafficking, all that stuff was way worse in a time period where it wasn't so easy to report, to track. There wasn't Amber Alerts. All of those things just didn't exist in the wide scale that they exist today.
Man, I'm uncovering so many diamonds all of a sudden.
I'm in the bed.
Oh, I gotta fly out of here.
I was about to say, you're about to be uncovering creepers on your heads if you don't get out of there.
Yeah. Oh, ouch. Ow, hit a wall. I'm going to the bed. Are the upper beds or the lower beds?
I'm in the bottom bed.
Is it safe?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in.
mean, I don't know. Do you not feel like the information and technology age has changed the way we view all of these
Oh,
things?
I think it. I definitely think it has, but I do find it kind of interesting that it is so much easier to track people nowadays, but it is seemingly like more unsafe
I don't think it
for.
is. I don't think we're living in unsafer times. In fact, like if you look at crime rates and that sort of thing, for the most part, we are living in safer times. It's just we're living in more widely reported times.
I mean, it might be true. I mean, you used to
Might
hear about
be.
hitchhiking, like, and how it was like just a normal thing that people did back in the day, and then it started to become a bad thing. But I guess if we picked up hitchhiking again, would it not necessarily? Because I mean, what is Uber?
Exactly. Like that's one of the a really good example is if you told your parents when the internet first came out, if you told your parents you were meeting someone on the internet, you're already gonna get murdered. You're already dead. The moment you tell your mom and dad, they're planning the funeral. But now we're living in an age where you go on the internet to get a stranger to come pick you up in their car. Like if you got in a stranger's car back in the day, you're also gonna be dead. So I think things are so much more tracked and so much more. There's so much more surveillance, all of that stuff. I feel like we're living in a much safer time period, but a much more widely reported of fear. I feel like we're living in a fear mongering period, not a dangerous period. Like for instance, my ex-wife always acted like my daughter could never go outside and play by herself. I've been playing outside by myself my whole life here. There's nothing around but the woods. The only thing you have to worry about is the wild animals. Like you don't there's no one's walking up to kidnap you. Like they'd get shot. um so like I don't know. It frustrates me to even think that people like at least in my area where I live, it's safe for your kids to go outside and play. But everyone acts like you can't even let your damn kids go outside and play anymore.
Yeah, but
This
it's
fucking,
not
you know what? I'm
as
gonna
safe
kill
in
you.
like who are you talking about?
This skeleton, he had to die.
But it's not necessarily as safe in other areas though. You have nobody around, so it's safe
No,
because nobody's
sure.
there.
I'm talking about my area in this particular sentence, but I still think nationwide
It's
we
on
are
your
a
side.
safer nation. Nationwide is on our side, and we live in a safer nation than we did in the '60s. Um,
I mean, it is interesting
and
because like when people get like the girl from Iowa that recently had the couple weeks that they were looking for her, and she got murdered by one of the local guys in the neighborhood, the illegal immigrant that was in the neighborhood, Molly.
well, your Discord's worse than ever tonight.
Molly was her name.
Okay.
Either way, she was the young, attractive girl from Iowa, white girl, of course, because everybody's like, why is a white girl getting all this attention about being missing, like random girl in Iowa? And it's kind of interesting that it even took them so long to find her. And not that it was that long. I'm not like bashing the investigation or anything, but because we are in such a connected world nowadays, it's almost like you're tracked in everything you do, whether you want to be or not.
Right.
That like if I disappeared tomorrow, I bet you somebody could be like, boom, there he is. Like I can see some access or some type of account, some type of wearable something pinging somewhere.
Right. I mean, and I guess that's the difference too. Is whenever you do hear about these kidnappings, you hear about them in rural Kansas or whatever. You don't hear about. I mean, sure, there's shootings and kidnappings and all that stuff that happen in New York City probably on a regular basis, but there's also a population density there that leads to that stuff happening more frequently, as
Well, yeah,
well.
it might not happen more frequently.
Per
It happens
capita.
proportionally to the
Right.
population potentially.
Right. Um, and I also think the more you put a bunch of humans together, the more they're gonna get tired of each other's shit. So like, it's if you put a whole bunch of people in the same spot, you're more likely to get tired of other people quicker. And then in terms of like, I'm tired of your shit, I'm gonna shoot you.
I mean, that's possibly true.
You were fucking up the farm. God damn it.
Sorry.
These animals, not you. I've always believed that, you know, that's why people are assholes whenever, like, the first time I landed in New York City, like, I've always heard people are assholes in New York City, but I had never got to experience it firsthand, and it's the damn truth. Like, everyone is just so damn rude unnecessarily, and I guess they're just tired of each other's shit.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of New York City. I've only been there actually once, but I'm not a fan of New York City. And
I didn't go into the city. This was just at the airport, and I had to get moved from one airport to the other because of a flight mess up. And just like the time it took to get that part accomplished was just one rude motherfucker to the next, basically. The journey from one rude asshole to another rude asshole.
I thought it was crazy. We drove up to New York's airport, which is obviously outside of New York City, but it's, you know, talking DC. There's no airport in downtown DC, but, you know, they're all outside of DC. We drove up there when we went to France because we got cheaper flights out of France. I couldn't believe in the last 10-mile stretch to get to the airport from DC, we probably paid over $60 in tolls. Like, but it was 8 different toll stops.
So, talking about tolls, I missed a bill the other day, and my tolls to go to the airport are $7. That's what it costs to go to the toll road. I mean, yeah, I don't have to take a toll road, but it's a lot more convenient. So I always take a toll road. It's always $7. I missed the damn bill. They charged me a $40 late fee.
Damn. So,
yeah.
Can you refute it somehow?
No, because I missed the late fee too. And
so they charged me $800 late fee.
No, that's the other thing. So like I looked through all my mail after this, and I don't know where these bills came. Like, I didn't get them, basically. I don't know what happened. I only got the notice of, you've missed your bill due date and you've missed the late fee, so now you can no longer renew your registration at the DMV until you call this number and pay. And it was $85 on a $7 bill. And I told them, I was like, I never received a bill, period. And they're like, you should get the thing that goes in your dash. And I'm like, dude, I go up the road like 3 times a year. I'm not going to get the dash thing because you have to pay annually for that and all this.
I don't think you have to
would never miss a bill.
Is it a fast pass?
Yeah.
So I got a fast pass. And at one point they changed it so it charged you annually for the fast pass, and then they immediately took it away because there was some legal issue with charging for something. Like, it was very strange, but they charged me for 1 year and then they've never charged me again because they had to rescind it.
So Renee was complaining about it because I was telling her about this, and she says that they charged her based on an average usage every month. So like, I guess her ex-husband used to go up the road a lot. So she's like, last month they charged me $300. I didn't drive it at all.
That's the whole point of those things, is they're like point of service charges. It's like saying,
like, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like saying your credit card doesn't actually. We don't charge you for what you actually purchase. We'll charge you an average every transaction you make.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. This is what she said. I haven't actually used it. I do know originally it was, and then when I told the guy I didn't need annual charge. Like, all right. So he didn't dispute it. Like, we don't do an annual charge anymore. So I don't know if he just didn't want to argue with it or what. That's possible, but. Either way, I thought it was crazy. They were like, "You could never register your car again."
So,
I just registered my car. That shit do for a year. You ain't threatening me with nothing.
You know what though, is I think it might be a statewide thing. Look into Virginia, because the fast pass system is everywhere. I have mine through Virginia because at the time, and I think I actually got it through Virginia because that was where it was. It didn't have an annual fee at the time, so it might be statewide.
Huh. That is true. It is a multi-state thing. So maybe I'd get it in a different state. That'd be hilarious. I wonder if you can get it in a different state without. Obviously, I guess so. Since you did
I did.
Residency.
I did.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to look into it. I also don't like shit hanging in my door. I don't even let them put the expiration thing on my car for oil.
Really?
You
You just don't want to know how over your mileage.
I know. I know. I keep track of it. I just don't want shit on my window. Is that weird?
No, I mean, not really, but I've never heard somebody think that the oil thing was bothersome.
It does. It looks tacky to me.
I've never heard somebody's take on that before.
Yeah, I don't know. I like my car to be clean. I mean, I buy my car because I think it looks cool. So
I buy my car because I like people to know how often I change my oil.
Right.
Only reason I own a car.
I bought this so I could put the sticker on it. This is when I changed my oil. Am I cool yet?
My car is just my sticker hanger. Is really all it is. It's like, do you think I buy a fridge to keep food cold? Hell no, it's for my magnets.
Yeah, this is for art. This is my art box. Anyways, we should stop here. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Right,
Jeff says bye.
I'm dying. All right, see it.